All right, guys, we're here with Jessica Evil Eye. She's a UFC fighter. She just you just watched her fight in the female invitational, and she won. So, Jess, tell us about have you ever done a grappling tournament before?
Yeah, when I originally started and found MMA and just found the entire world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I started out grappling. So most people think they're like just guys a striker, but I started out with grappling. And when I heard you guys were coming to my backyard, I was like, wait a minute, I have to be in this tournament. So
awesome.
Yeah, Dustin really hooked it up and let me come out and do the tournament.
So when was the last time you did a jiu-jitsu tournament?
I'd have to say it was one of Dion's tournaments back in Toledo, and it's probably been before I fought Zoila in Bellator, so probably 2012.
Wow.
Maybe that long it's been, so.
Abraham Marte behind us. What was different about, how hard was it to not punch your opponent in the face while you were grappling?
Well, you know what's crazy, and I think that it's exciting when you see other fighters, actually come into the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world, because
absolutely.
we're so similar, but at the same time we're still so different. But I noticed that, in fighting, I definitely use my striking to do the tie-ups, and I couldn't do that this time. So you find, the competitors pulling guard. So that was my game plan. I knew they were going to pull guard, so I was going to go for the heel hook, and that was kind of my game plan for both matches or all matches.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you more about your game. So what are some of your favorite moves in your grappling game when you use in practice and all the time? What's your go-to stuff?
Well, I'm trying to really just learn to attack a little bit more. Everyone knows me for a striker, so I'm trying to yet again get out to these tournaments so that when I go to my next UFC fight, I might Ronda Rousey someone, or they might be like, uh-oh, there's a Jessica Eye coming along. So, but I like to do arm triangles and heel hooks and knee bars. Those are my favorite moves to do. So I felt like when I came in here today, I was like, I'm going to execute those things.
Awesome. Yeah, we saw you working for a head and arm from mount there for a while, side control, and then end up finishing that. Man, that girl, that heel hook was really cranked, and I thought she was going to tap a lot sooner. She ended up turning over Mackenzie.
Me and Mackenzie have grappled against each other before.
Okay.
I think a lot of the females in the state of Ohio, we've all kind of gone against each other. But years ago, me and Mackenzie went against each other, and it was at that Dion Thomas, and it was kind of a, competitive matchup between the both of us. And I think that we've, years now, 5 years later, we found ourselves going up against each other, and she beat me last time, and I beat her this time. So it's cool. I wish her nothing but the best. I know she gets a lot of respect in the women's, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world here in Ohio.
So what's next for your career? What do you have going on?
So I've been basically asking a lot for Betch Kohea, another top 10 female in the UFC division. But, I know I'm with the best of the best, and until, Dana tells me I'm allowed to fight again, I'm going to be at every grappling tournament in the area. I don't care if I have to fly out, and I want the competition, and I love the adrenaline, and it only makes it easier that when I walk in, front of 30,000 at the UFC, I'm like, I've been here a million times. I can do this.
Is there any chance that we're going to see Jessica Eye in a IBJJF tournament anytime soon?
I would love to. My coach, Pablo, Castro, Brazil School, they say it to me all the time, and I'm really at this point that this is a part of my game that I'm really going to start executing.
Awesome.
I think everyone knows me well as a striker, and it's like, hey, Jess, we know you can punch, so let's really go make yourself a danger on the ground.
I did notice during your grappling that you did keep good distance in case there were strikes. It was a different type of grappling. I see some of our fighters at our school, Black and other fighters, perform. They always keep their distance. They keep the striking, so whatever move they're going for, they can't be reached by punches. I did notice that in your game.
In today grappling?
Yes.
Well, one of the biggest things that you get a lot is because these mats are so small is that I know that no one was going to shoot a single leg, no one was going to shoot a double leg. That's why even in my first match I was trying to go for double underhooks. But I know that I wasn't going to get a shot on, so I knew that these girls were going to pull guard, so I'm like, oh, if they pull guard, then I'm going for the heel hook. So I knew that distance that they don't want, the distance that they want to keep is the distance that I know that I can attack from, because that punching you use for range. So.
Now I saw your coach here today. He's in a shirt and tie, like Olympic wrestling coach or something. I have to say I like that move. When I got here, I saw him. I was like, man, I should have wore a shirt and tie.
It would have been like the wrestlers matches where they're all tied up in suit and everything. But yeah, Pablo's doing some amazing things here in Cleveland. He's running for a Common Pleas judge, which is awesome. You know, and we're really excited for him to do some great things. But he's an amazing coach. He's been my coach for 10 years, and we've got a plan, man. We're gonna get back to just submitting people like crazy.
So he's gonna be wearing a black gown and a black belt. I guess does he get to wear the gown and stuff, I guess?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Well,
it definitely would be.
Vote for Pablo Castro. Whatever, I don't know what district he's in, but
I think it's Cuyahoga County, basically, Cuyahoga County, which is, you know, this is my hometown. I literally live 5 minutes from here. So yet again, when I found out Dustin was this close, you know, I contacted him. I'm like, hey, you know, I would love to get in the tournament. I'll do it however. I'll go in the no-gi. And he's like, let's do an invite. So it's really neat to have this turnout here in Parma. I mean, this is a big area. I mean, obviously you guys have never been to Cleveland, so it's nice to have you guys up here.
Yeah, this is my first time in Cleveland. I'm from Pittsburgh, so.
I'm sorry.
I'm really.
I mean, wait a minute, Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh and Cleveland this weekend. So for you to be here, where is it? Is it in Pittsburgh or is it in Cleveland? Is the game?
I don't know. I don't follow football close enough, so I don't even know. Where is it? Do you know?
I know it's this weekend, but I wasn't sure where it was which one it was at either.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to be. Well, I probably won't be watching anyway. So, I had a question for you. Now I'm totally blanking on it. But,
well, welcome to Cleveland for your first time. If you're looking for a carb overload, hit up a place called Melt. It's right by the highway.
Melt.
It's like the biggest sandwich spot. They had it on the Man vs. Food. It's like a 10-pound grilled cheese.
About like 20 minutes ago, I actually mentioned how hungry I was. So
the Melt. Get the Melt challenge.
The challenge.
If you even get it tattooed on you too, you get free Melt for life.
You can do it with me if you do the challenge.
We're gonna get sandwiches.
Diet, though. So, do you ever train in the gi?
I do. You know, I try to get into it as much as I can, but probably not enough as I should. You know, with MMA, there's so much to think of, and it's almost you know, there's so many facets that I have to concentrate on that. I think my forearms can only take so much. I mean, between grabbing and grappling with the gi on, and then turn around and punching, and I think in my mind the way I look at it is that when I'm done with my MMA, my full MMA career, I'll have a whole nother career, and that will be, you know, getting my purple belt, getting my black belt, and just it'll give me something to compete at that level, you know, and it'll be something to look forward outside of, you know, my actual fight gear when I decide to stop getting punched in the face and start submitting people.
You train with Stipe Miocic. Stipe.
Yeah, Stipe
now,
Miocic.
What's it like having a guy like him, you know, on your team? I mean, somebody like that, one of the most dominant fighters in the world right now, in the room. I mean, what's that like?
You know, it's hard because, you know, like when people are like, oh man, you train with Stipe, or like what you said, like I've known Stipe since the moment I started. We both came to Strong Style within a month of each other. And to me, it's just like he's my big brother, and I'm just seeing him do his thing, and it's something I always knew he was going to be good at. So right now, I think it's so exciting to see him go through the fact that he went through an injury and then had to go pull out of the Ben fight. Now he's in the Arlovsky fight, and it's the fight that's, you know, is yet again going to put Stipe on the map. I think
he's going to win that fight too, for sure. So
listen, the junior fight showed Stipe was much more of a competitor than Junior was, and on so many levels. And a guy like Junior Dos Santos never comes back the same, and a guy like Stipe never comes back the same because he gets more dangerous. And this is the kind of fight where he can just come out and, I mean, it's like the new breed versus the old breed. Like Arlovsky's the old style fighters, and then Stipe's that new, athletic, top competing heavyweight. I'm excited for these fights. Obviously, it's in the women's division, and I've gotten a chance to be around Ronda. You know, obviously she's at the top of my division, and I want to be there. I mean, nothing against her or anybody. I want that for myself. And you know, obviously a girl like Holly, who was a great striker. I mean, this is literally two different kinds of fights. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I definitely think that Ronda's a little nervous about that ability at such a high level, and I feel like that Ronda, I feel like she's got a lot going on, you know, and I've been there, and as a fighter, I think we're very the top level females, we're kind of emotional, you know, we strive ourselves on on using that emotion, and I feel like a lot's going on. She's got her coach, you know, all over the news.
Yeah.
She's got a relationship all over the news.
Yeah.
She's got her mom all over the news. And then at weigh-ins last night, I mean, you could hear the chatter in her voice when she got upset. And I mean, women, I think, are a little bit different than men that way. We just compete different. We use our emotion differently. So,
Well,
I mean,
and everybody knows, you know, when you have turmoil in your life, it can be it can help motivate you, but it can also be a big distraction for what you're trying to accomplish, and it can
mental
hinder you.
drain. Yeah.
I think that women have a harder time than men do. I genuinely feel like you guys are just built different than the way we are. I think women are great competitors, but the emotion grabs a hold of you, and you know, I think that's a lot to deal with at one time, especially whenever you are the. I mean, the UFC's got her everywhere. I mean, she can't turn, and you know, I think that's going to count for something.
So do you like? You make up a good point, and it's probably not something that's talked about a lot. Do you do anything like specific, like to make sure like your mental game is on point? You know, do you do like any meditation, anything at all like that?
I think that I'm learning more that my last 2 fights have been high-level fights, and it was new for me. It was like, wait a minute, like I thought I was prepared, but I wasn't. Like I felt myself, you know, going into the cage, and I was like, wait a minute, why can't I feel my knees right now? You know,
Yeah.
so it's like I started being like, wait a minute, I thought I did everything mentally to prepare myself, but I do notice a difference when I have had some outside distractions that it's caused me to feel some way. So I try to keep myself away from it. I try to keep myself away from anything that might, you know, chatter me a little bit.
So, do you have any sponsors you want to plug? I mean, there's probably only I'm going to be generous saying maybe there's 30 people watching. It'll probably go back and get watched later. That's how we get most of our views. But
well, we'll definitely help get you guys out there too.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you put you all over my fan page and stuff. And you know, I want to thank you guys for having me on, and it's a pleasure that you guys come out and help people and talk to these guys the way that you are. And you know, I want to thank my fans and everyone for helping me. So I appreciate
thanks for coming on. We were joking. Well, that's actually not a joke, but I was telling the guys I actually have a huge crush on you. So
Aww. Well, I'm
really
single,
happy. So we'll leave it with that. I'm gonna go get Jessica's number, and we'll get back to the action.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for coming.